trainers, fight fans, and ground game aficionados. This is another episode of the No Decision Podcast. This is Wes Ibarra. There's Joy Villapando. We're going to run down tonight. Claressa Shields getting her first win in MMA with the PFL. Shakur Stevenson's win over Jeremiah Nakatila to win the interim title this past Saturday. The loaded fight weekend this coming weekend, June 19th. Alexander Povetkin's recent announcement of retirement, and our close for tonight. We're going to take a quick intro break. When we come back, we're going to talk that boxing. Boxers, trainers, fight fans, welcome back. We're going to open up the show with the GOAT, Claressa Shields. She's been on record saying that she wants to be in the MMA ranks. She got her wish. She's part of the Professional Fighters League, which is kind of like the NBA and UFC having the baby. Regular season, playoffs, points, or more like soccer, really. So points and rankings and this, that, and the other. So I believe it was on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. I can't seem to get it off the top of my head. But Tuesday, she was okay. Yeah, she was fighting on ESPN2 or ESPN Plus if you're more of the cord cutting kind. And she fought against brown belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist Brittany Elkin. So, of course, that's high expectations, right? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a very, very disciplined martial art. And to be brown belt, very close to black belt, that's pretty dangerous. It doesn't matter if you have the heaviest hands in women's boxing. That's pretty dangerous.
Yep.
And it was one of those 5-minute, 3-round fights. So the usual. So no championships involved or anything like that. And Claressa Shields looked very good on the upright game. So you could tell that her boxing proved well as she was landing a lot of heavy shots on Elkin. It's just that where Elkin had the upper hand was getting Claressa Shields to the ground via a ground game. Right. So think wrestling or grappling or whatever. And credits to Claressa Shields, she was able to get out of a lot of them or hold Elkin in check to where Elkin could not finish her.
Right.
However, when Claressa Shields got to the ground and was actually on top for once, she was able to club her opponent to a stoppage. So Claressa Shields scores her first MMA win in her first match by a finish. What other fashion could we expect from the GOAT herself? Now, is she a perfect MMA fighter? No. But is she becoming more diversified and well-rounded as a competitor? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what's next. Are they actually going to give her a more high magnitude PFL match next time? I'm looking forward to it though. But for now, she was able to pass her first test, and let's see what the future holds for her in MMA. And she did say that she still wants to do both MMA and boxing at the same time. So love to see how that pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to Claressa Shields for kind of going into the MMA side of the combat sports, right? I mean, not a lot of boxers are willing to do that. I know Holly Holmes, she started off as a boxer, but she's I believe she's had martial arts experience throughout her youth, so it was a little bit easier of a transition for her. But yeah. Like you said, I mean, I didn't expect Claressa to have the best ground game. I mean, take it. I'm not really an MMA, guy. I don't really watch. I don't really watch just MMA in general. And I just fell in love with boxing.
Bully beatdown counts to some extent.
Does it? Okay, so well then I'm okay. I'm okay then. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, I knew that she was gonna be decent in the ground game. I was kind of interested to see how she would use her legs. either to kick or get into position. But she did pretty well. And so yeah, I don't know. Like you said, Wes, it's gonna be interesting when she fights someone that's a little bit more well rounded, right? Who they'll definitely probably attack her on the ground with kicks, and so yeah, it'll be interesting. But I'm pretty sure Clarissa could hold her own. I mean, I think we spoke about this, right? It's kind of sad that she has to kind of cross over to MMA because there is not much of a market in women's boxing.
Unfortunately, yes, she has been on record saying that she could make her uh, more money and more of a household name by competing in MMA. And I think, again, I think the real story here is that the fact that she's trying to do both at the same
Yeah,
time. Two-way athlete. Granted, sure, there's like the Bo Jacksons of the world, Deion Sanders, and whom whom have you, but this is different, right?
yeah,
You're getting hit in the face in both sports, or kicked in the face rather,
that's
kicked in the face in one.
yeah.
So, man, I mean, I can't imagine anybody else trying to do that. But yeah, Clarissa Shields, man, that's why she's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous when she wants to be a household name, but she can't do it in the sport that she loves, the sport that she's mastered. She's a two-time gold medalist, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She's represented in the United States of America. And so, yeah, it's sad, but unfortunately, I feel like there's just not enough voices at her time to kind of help bring awareness to women's boxing. And so, yeah, and of course the politics with it all as well. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing, right? So,
For sure. But hey, shouts to Clarissa Shields for scoring that dub. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna start off with the Shakur Stevenson interim title match with Jeremiah Nakatila, and we're gonna have perhaps some back and forth on some questions that we may have about the former Olympian in Shakur Stevenson. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We are back. We're now going to talk about the interim lightweight fight that went down this past weekend. Shakur Stevenson, former Olympian, and Jeremiah Nakatila. And I don't know what to make of it, but Shakur Stevenson cruised his way to a win and a interim title that weekend. Very controlled, very technical, very sound, and of course, knowing him, very loud. And very loud and demonstrative.
yeah,
So, you know, Joy, you managed to get the film study on this. Were you impressed by Shakur?
I was. After the fight, Shakur kind of he went on social media to apologize to his fans, saying that he was sorry that he wasn't feeling good during the fight. That's why he couldn't get him out of there. I mean, like, dude, you got the victory. I don't think Shakur Stevenson has to apologize at all. Like you get the win. I mean, the object is to hit and not get hit, and so yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'm not. So I was pretty impressed by Shakur Stevenson, but again, like I do think that there's gonna be bigger challenges in front of him. He's still young, and like you said, he's an Olympian, and it seems as though Olympians are taking over the sport of boxing right now. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. He's a much better defensive fighter than I thought. Um, and so yeah, it's gonna be interesting, right? I mean, in that division, well, Tank is kind of moving up. He I think he is gonna move up in weight after the Mario Barrios fight. But yeah, Stevenson, of course, he could also climb up to the lightweight division where a lot of the younger fighters are there too. But yeah, yeah. Also props to Nakatila. I think he was the number one ranked fighter in uh not in Yeah. Namibia. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Psst, almost forgot where he was from. But yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, yeah, he was the number one ranked fighter in Namibia, and yeah, so unfortunately, his first fight overseas didn't go well, but I think he was a really good fighter. He stood there, but he got countered. He got countered pretty well by Stevenson, and so yeah, uh, yeah. Congrats to Stevenson.
So, yes, first and foremost, very big congratulations to Shakur Stevenson. He keeps his star shining and, his sweepstakes alive for those bigger fights. But first question I do want to ask. So, he has that Floyd esque style,
Mm.
as does Devin Haney and a few other fighters out there. So, the first thing, obviously, that a lot of casual fans like to point out with Floyd during his run of greatness was he's boring. So, because of these very defensively sound technical guys, do you think? I mean, Devin Haney has already gotten flack for being "quote unquote" boring. So, do you think Shakur is in that same category of, to the at least the casual eye, boring?
I don't think he's boring. I mean, this is coming from a guy who loves boxing. Still enjoy the technical fights. Like I said, it seemed as though this new generation of boxers, there's a lot more counter punchers. And back then, we only had one true counter puncher, right? And I mean, growing up, for me at least, that's the case. Uh, Probably the truest counterpuncher was Juan Manuel Marquez, right? But a lot of times Marquez knew when to attack, and so that's what made him different. But nowadays, these young guys are just waiting for you to make a mistake, and yeah, I mean, this is gonna happen. I don't see there's a lot of brawlers out there. Maybe Virgil Ortiz is probably one of those old school brawlers who's pretty good as well. But yeah, I don't think he's boring. I think he's a pretty good fighter. He he fights smart. Unlike Devin Haney when he started fighting Jorge Linares' fight, and then he got caught, got hurt, and he could say all he want that he didn't get hurt, but I mean his legs told a different story. But keep in mind, there's two types of Floyd Mayweathers, right? There was Pretty Boy Floyd, who was actually pretty fast, pretty powerful, and he was a knockout artist, right? He reminds me a lot about Tank right now, but then he turned into Money Floyd, Money Mayweather, right? He became more of a defensive fighter because he suffered a hand injury. I believe it was right. It was right hand. He broke it, and that's why he started wearing grants to protect his hands a little bit more. And then he became this defensive fighter, right? Probably the greatest defensive fighter in our era. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think he's boring at all. Shakur, I don't think he's boring at all. He's a good fighter. Like you said, he can be loud, but in some cases, I'd rather have a loud fighter than a fighter who doesn't really talk that much. Of course, yeah, like I get it, but like, there's some good fighters that are quiet, and there's some good fighters that are loud. So,
Definitely 100%. And speaking of the opposite of boring, let's spice things up a little bit. Can there be a fighter that can bring out the best in Shakur Stevenson right now?
ooh, like I said, I think Tank would have probably given him problems. Tank is a guy that can punch in different angles. They're both southpaws. I'm not really sure if Shakur has. Yeah, he has. He has. He has fought a southpaw. But I'm saying, there's a lot of southpaws as well nowadays in the sport of boxing, and yeah, I think Tank has incredible power, and Shakur Stevenson does not like to get hit. When he gets hit, a lot of times Shakur like retaliates, and he kind of leaves himself wide open when he retaliates. But he's still pretty good. But yeah, it seems as though, like I said, it seems as though Tank wants to go up in weight. Um, you know, gonna fight Mario Barrios. I think that'll be a good fight. But yeah,
Well, you say getting hit. If there's going to be one guy more or less in his current class that could hit him and hit him hard and probably break him, that
yeah,
could be Ryan Garcia, no?
it could be. It could be. Keep in mind, like he still has to go up in weight. I think the title that he won was a super featherweight division. And so Ryan is just one. Yeah, he's literally just like one or two weight classes above. Of course, right? There's always this talk. And like I said, these guys are not gonna end up in. These guys are not gonna finish in the weight class that they started in. And I think Shakur is probably gonna end his career in the welterweight division. I think Ryan Garcia. I think Devin Haney. Those guys are gonna go up in weight as they go older. Um,
Absolutely, and they might end up fighting each
each
other
other. No, no.
at one point.
I,
So
I'm saying. I think. Of course, right. We know West. Like, there's politics. They're gonna build up each other's records, and then they're gonna fight each other in the welterweight division, make a lot of money. So yeah, it's just whoever comes out on top.
I could also say, I guess if we're gonna talk about a guy that's not a kid,
Mm.
if we're gonna talk about a full-grown man that could uh be problematic for Shakur, why not Vasily Lomachenko?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people kind of brushed Loma. I feel like people are brushing off Lomachenko aside because he lost to
He
Teofimo.
lost to Tifimo, yeah.
I would not doubt or I would not count him out just yet. I think he's just way too good to be counted out. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he fights again with Teofimo if he gets another chance at the titles to be the lineal lightweight champion. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't think he's ever gonna go up in weight. There's a chance he might, fight in the super featherweight division. And so it's a possibility that he could fight Shakur. Remember, uh, what is it called? That Lomachenko fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, who I thought was one of the better defensive fighters, especially in his weight division, and he made Rigondeaux look amateur.
Mhm.
And Rigondeaux he's also one of the Olympians for the Cuban team. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see where Shakur goes next.
Absolutely. So again, shout out to Shakur Stevenson for the win. Um, but yeah, that ends that part of the show. We're gonna take another quick break. We're gonna come back with the big upcoming fight weekend. Sit back, relax, don't go anywhere. Boxers, trainers, fight fans. Guess what? We have a huge weekend on the 19th of June. We're talking Inoue. We're talking Charlo. We're talking Mungia. We're talking Tiafimo. And is there a name that I did not call, Joy?
Let me check real quick. Nope.
Amongst maybe probably any other many fights going down. But I got the big ones.
Chavez Silva.
Sure. Okay, fine. But yeah, the point of this segment here is that there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is.
So if you are a fight fan, you might be having the Zone, ESPN, and maybe Showtime all in one day. So in other words, you better stock it up because you might be sitting down all day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
But what fight are you looking forward to most on that hectic boxing weekend?
Ooh. Of course, I'm definitely gonna watch Naoya Inoue, Michael Das Marinas. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Free boxing, and boxing should be in the main archives. To be honest, in main TV, like back then, like back when it used to. And of course, Teofimo Cambosos. Like I said, I think I stated it in the previous episodes that I'm actually pulling for Cambosos to win this, just to of course, I mean, I like Teofimo Lopez, but I also like George Cambosos, and so I think he has a lot of skill. And so yeah, other than that, I'm also keen to see Jamal Charlo. Um, I haven't really watched a lot of Jamal Charlo and either even his brother, and so I'm probably gonna stock up on some film on them, and then just kind of enjoy the fights first, and then probably watch it second time. I usually watch it like at least two times just to get a feel for who they are. But yeah, other than that, I want to make a special shout out to Marie Eve Decaire. She was one of the fighters, the most recent fighter that lost to Clarissa
Clarissa
Shields.
Shields. Hmm.
She's fighting on Friday, and so I'll definitely watch that too on Friday. I mean, I'm kind of just hooked for boxing, and so yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Definitely gonna be a busy weekend for me. But I mean, sitting down enjoying boxing, I think that's a great night for me.
It sounds like a great night for you. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to catch one or maybe two of those fights on DVR or replay or
Yeah,
even archived because I will be away this weekend. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on. For those who are really dedicated to sport, I salute you for being able to make time in your busy schedules for that. But for me, I am looking forward to the uh, Tiafimo
yeah.
Cambosa's fight the most.
I was
Of
about to
course,
say, yeah,
because it's a big spectacle to the point where they had to move it because the Floyd effect is real and the Paul effect, if you will. Um, and on top of that, it really goes to see if someone from the outside, literally from the outside, can defeat Teofimo Lopez, or if someone can really, really put hurt on Teofimo Lopez, kind of like the same way Loma did in the later rounds of their fight.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting, right? I don't think it's gonna be much. Well, yeah, I think so. I actually think that George Cambosos wants to make this a chess fight, right? Because or a chess match, because yeah, I mean, as soon as you start trading with Teofimo, your chances get lower and lower every single round. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a very similar fight to him and Lomachenko, but we'll see. We'll see who kind of takes the early rounds. I think the fighter that sets the tone will definitely take the victory.
Definitely. All we know is Miami's going to be popping.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Let us know who you are looking forward to the most on the 19th. But while you're thinking about that, we're going to take our last break of the night. When we come back, we're going to close up the show and give a happy trails to a particular longtime heavyweight contender and champion around here. So we're going to reach the end of our show tonight. Um, I it's been a great week of fighting. To be honest with you, more MMA.
Hmm.
We're gonna have a big boxing weekend this coming weekend. But I do want to take time, kind of like how you did with Marie Eve Decare earlier in the show, Joy, to wish a happy trails so long to Alexander Povetkin, who recently announced his retirement. So great career, obviously,
Yeah.
great career. Um, Unfortunately, lost to some of the bigger names in his division, like Anthony Joshua, for
Yeah.
example. But
He had his time.
I guess he had his time, but
Yes.
he had his time. Yes, I made Russia proud, and it makes me wonder: could we see Alexander Povetkin in the Boxing Writers Hall of Fame?
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Right. He's a former world champion. Um, I don't know if it's a guarantee that he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. Right. I mean, of course, you got to be like. There's definitely again another politics in here, and he's also Russian, and so I don't know how much the Boxing Hall of Fame favors Russian fighters, but I actually have grown to love Alexander Povetkin. He's one of the most humble guys I've ever seen in the ring, and he yeah he has such a strange style when it comes to fighting. His pretty much his main punch to start off with is like an uppercut, a left uppercut, which actually knocked down Dillian White, and so knocked him out actually. And so I guess I need to do my history lessons on Russian boxing, but I heard that's pretty much their money shot over there. And so I'm keen to learn more. I pretty much learned a little bit by just watching Povetkin. But yeah, happy retirement to.
So you're saying since their money punch is like the knockout punch.
Yeah,
So you're saying the writers of Rocky got it right.
They probably did, right? They probably did some research, and like it's the left uppercut. The left uppercut
minus
is
the sophisticated treadmill and the gym
steroid
machines and steroids. Definitely before steroid testing was a thing, yet still lost to rough and tough Philadelphia Rocky Balboa.
who was pushing out logs, and like I think the best scene in that movie was when Drago would just punch like one of the punching bags and it would just say 99999 like. But yeah, I think that.
Yeah, and that's how that arcade game got created.
I was like, you don't need to prove to us that he could punch hard. He just killed Apollo Creed. I mean,
I mean, granted, a 990 or 9,999 pound per square inch anything should have killed anyone. So the fact that Rock managed to make it out of there. And if that was the case with Alexander Povetkin, that didn't work out, right?
That didn't work out.
Britain made a 10,000 pound per square inch punch in the name of Anthony Joshua.
But I mean, and Rocky ate a lot of those, by the way. Fucking Drago landed 95% of his power punches in that fight. But
is that a real stat, or did you just make that up?
No. I just made it up. But it looked like he landed 95% of his punches. But again, congrats to Alex Povetkin. Dillian White, he's also human. He's also a father, and he's also a competitor, and he was able to also recognize and he actually congratulated Povetkin. Of course, he was a little bit bitter, but when he lost to Povetkin, but he actually took it like a man and congratulated Povetkin after the loss and congratulated him on his retirement. So one of the biggest.
Wait, but didn't Dillian White win the second time though?
No. That's what I'm saying. Is like
like
even after the second fight, he was able to recognize Povetkin's power, and Povetkin is a really strong dude. But congrats to Alex Povetkin. You will be missed. I hope there's another Russian fighter that I could learn a little bit more from. Probably. I don't know. I don't know who's a guy that's trained by a Russian. So I'm probably gonna have to dig deep into the film archives. But let me know. Let me know any Russian fighters that I should be watching right now.
Well, we had our Siberian Rocky, Ruslan Provodnikov.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Tim Bradley. That's what happened.
Chris Algieri. That's what happened. What is it called? Beterbiev. He's decent. Is he Russian? I think he's more.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, cool.
He is. Because remember, his last fight was, I think, in Russia.
In Russia. Okay. Okay.
And then the whole anthem and like the crowds and everything.
Oh, there you go then. I'll. I mean, I've been watching Beterbiev, but yeah. I mean, he's more of an overcome volume puncher for me. So one punch too. But yeah, yeah, definitely a lot to watch.
For sure. Yeah, that's the end of our show tonight. Hope you all enjoyed. Um, we are closing up the gym for tonight. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. But if you still want to keep listening to us, there is the Run It Back podcast out there. Um, Off this week, but back next week with the French Grand Prix. So that should be fun. And then, of course, there's us reviewing the big 619 weekend. 619, Rey Mysterio. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your Monday nights or Tuesdays or Sundays. I don't know, whatever the time zone is in your country. But thank you for listening and have a great night.